Have you ever found yourself just endlessly scrolling long after you actually meant to stop? Or maybe you felt that magnetic pull to check a notification the second it buzzes? If that sounds familiar, well, you're definitely not alone. Today, we're going to dive into exactly why that happens. And spoiler alert, it has a lot less to do with your willpower than you might think.
And this, right here, this statement really gets to the heart of it. So many of us feel like we're failing, that we just don't have the discipline to put our phones down. But what if the whole game is rigged? What if you're not actually fighting your own weakness, but a system that's been specifically designed to exploit how your brain naturally works? And that's the crucial point. This isn't some happy accident. That endless scroll, those irresistible notifications, they are all part of a very meticulous, very intentional architecture. This is basically human behavioral engineering. And like any engineering project, it has a specific goal. So what is it?
Well, to understand the design, you really have to follow the money. You have to look at the business model. And it all boils down to one simple and maybe a little unsettling truth about all these free platforms we use every day. So you can kind of see the two sides of the story here. On one side, you have the illusion, this amazing free service for connecting with all your friends. But on the other side, you've got the reality, a machine built to extract a resource from you. There's an old saying in the tech world, if you're not paying for the product, then you are the product. Your attention. That's the commodity that's being packaged up and sold to the highest bidder.
Okay, so that leads us to the big question, right? If your attention is the most valuable thing, what tools are being used to mine it so effectively? How does the architecture of these platforms actually work to keep you glued to the screen for as long as humanly possible? All right, let's pull back the curtain and take a look at the psychological mechanics that are at play here. Because this isn't just about clever programming, this is about applied neuroscience. And it all starts with a tiny little chemical in your brain. Meet the dopamine loop. Dopamine is often called the reward chemical, but it's actually more accurate to call it the chemical of anticipation. It's the thing that drives us to seek out rewards. And social media platforms, well, they have become absolute masters at creating and exploiting these loops to build habits inside our brains. And here's a perfect breakdown of how it works. It all starts with a cue, that little buzz in your pocket or that red dot. That immediately triggers the action. You check your phone because you're anticipating a reward. And then you get the reward itself, a like, a comment, a new message. But here's the real key. The reward is unpredictable. It's a lot like a slot machine. You never know when you're going to get a payout. And it's that variability, that uncertainty that makes it so ridiculously addictive. And this is why it feels so familiar, right? Every single scroll, every single pull to refresh, it's a little gamble. Will the next post be funny? Will it be interesting? Will someone have liked my photo? That tiny little hit of dopamine, or even just the possibility of getting one, is what makes the action feel so compulsive. You're not just scrolling, you're literally chasing a reward your brain has been trained to hunt for. But you know what? It actually goes even deeper than just simple rewards. The most effective systems, they target our most powerful, most primal emotions. Things like fear, the fear of missing out, or FOMO, that keeps you checking in so you don't feel left behind. Anger and outrage. Oh man, these are incredibly powerful for engagement. Nothing spreads faster than something that makes us angry. And of course, there's the constant search for validation through likes and shares. And those three drivers, fear, anger, and validation, they are the main levers that the algorithms are designed to pull. They learn exactly what triggers you personally, and then they feed you this customized diet of content designed to keep your emotions running high and your eyes locked on the screen. So what's the cost of living inside this, manipulation engine? Well, the consequences are pretty significant. Our ability to focus on deep, meaningful work gets totally fragmented. We get caught in these endless cycles of social comparison that can just eat away at our self-worth. And maybe most importantly, we lose hours and hours of our lives to a system that was never, ever designed with our well-being in mind. So that's the problem. And yeah, it can feel a little bleak, but understanding the design, that's the first and most critical step toward breaking free. So let's talk about how to actually regain control. Here's the most important thing to remember. You can't fight an enemy that you can't see. The simple act of just learning how these systems work lets you relabel that feeling you get. That urge to scroll, it's not some personal craving you have. It's a manufactured cue. And just seeing it for what it is weakens its pull on you.
So the next time you feel that pull, don't just give in. Maybe pause and challenge it. Ask yourself, what am I really looking for right now? Or is this actually serving me, or is it serving the platform? This is how you start to create a little friction. Turn off notifications that aren't from actual people. Set timers for your apps. Schedule your social media time instead of letting it schedule you. See, it's not about willpower, it's about re-engineering your environment.
And really, that's the takeaway here. This isn't about deleting every single app or rejecting all technology. It's about shifting the balance of power. The architects of this system designed it to control your attention. But now that you can see the blueprint, the final question is, who's really in charge?